Hello everybody, my name is Leandro Humada. In this video we're going to talk about the contents in EcoStruxure Operator Terminal Expert. We're going to see how we can navigate using the contents and how we can access to the information inside the content. So let's go to the application. I'm going to open the Operator Terminal Expert Service Pack 1, version 3.2 Service Pack 1. Okay, so wait for this to open. Okay, it's in the other window. Going to create a new project, and what I'm going to show you first is to select the target that you are going to work with. So in my case, I like to work with the ST64, okay, this one, because it's the one I have next to me. So as you see here in the screen design, we have screens and contents. In the previous videos, I have shown you how to navigate using the screen and the folders. But now what we're going to do is to use the contents to create the navigation. So in the contents, in order to add contents, we need to go to here, add a screen of contents. Once we have selected this, so we can specify the content ID, which is different from this ID for the screen. So I'm going to select 101, okay, 100, and here we have different type of contents. We have canvas, scroll, zoom, blah, blah, blah. But in our case, I'm going to focus only in canvas and view box. So let's start with the canvas. Okay, I created this one, and now I'm going to add another one, but let's try 121, type view box. So let's add some stuff over here. Let's say a text box. Um, Hello world. Going to change this a little bit bigger. Hello world. Okay, good. I'm going to add an option here like this. So let's change the fill. No, I don't like this one. There we go. So in this content canvas type, you can see this is the size, okay, which is the complete size of the screen. We can change that if we want. Okay, we're gonna leave it as it. And then we have the other one, the content as a view box. I'm going to change this to this. I'm going to add another things here, 50. Um, Technical support. Okay, good. A little bit bigger. There we go. And then I'm going to add a rectangle. Let's change the color. Like this. Okay, so we have created two contents. Okay, we can change the name of the content over here. Select the one that you want and then the name. I'm going to select canvas and then content view box underscore view box. So we have created these contents, but when we are working with the predefined image, we are not able to select this ID. We work with the screen ID. So what we need to do is to call the contents in the screens. In order to do that, we need to use the object content display, okay, or a slide content, but I'm going to focus only on the content display. Here you can see as soon as we drag and drop this element, we can see error content 0 because the content ID is 0. As you can see, this element over here is the content ID. So if I use 1 or 2, there is no content unless we select one of the one that we have created. So 100, sorry, my bad. This is the screen ID for this one, and I have it select the content ID. So as you can see, content ID is 0. See, there is no visualization, okay, because I haven't selected the content ID that I want to show. So if I select 100 now, you can see the content ID for the canvas. Now I'm going to drag and drop another content display and select 101. As you can see that I am displaying the content, this content. In this case is the view box. So if I change this again, you can see the same. So here you can see two main difference between this type of content. We have in the right part, we have the canvas, and in the left part, we have the view box. As you can see here, the canvas is starting the 0, 0 position of the canvas, and then it starts showing the rest. So if I go here and I maximize everything, you can see the complete size of what I'm trying to show on the real content. In the other hand, we have the view box. As you can see, it's the same content, but it just changed the size of everything, which is good when we want to use the same display for the same content for different sizes of HMIs. As you can see, everything is just resized, okay, which is good. Sometimes it's good. So imagine now that you have more contents and you want to navigate. Okay, so let's try to make some adjustments here. So I'm going to add more contents here. I'm going to copy this, copy, select this one, paste. When we do this, it asks me to assign a new content ID. I'm going to add 102. Okay, viewbox. I'm going to change the name to. Here, I'm going to select ID 102 just to show this information, and I'm going to copy this again, paste it. I'm going to change this to 103 ID, and this one will be different, 103. Okay, so once we add more displays, more contents, imagine now that you want to leave this as it, fixed, and this one is the one that you want to show different information. Okay, if you want to do that, you can easily link this content ID to a variable. So what we're going to do now is to go to variables and create a new variable. I'm going to create an int variable, indication content. So content 1, I'm going to create two variables here, content 1 and content 2. So the content 1 will be linked to the variable that I had created to this content, which is fixed, okay? And the other variable, content 2, will be linked to this one, okay? So these two variables that I'm going to link to these two contents are going to be internal variables, but you can link that to an external variable from a PLC, for example. But I'd rather use it on the internal variable of the HMI. It is important if you use internal variables to predefine the ID that you want, otherwise it's going to have the error, this kind of error, okay, or it's just going to be in black. So what we need to do is to select the variables that we have created, okay, go here in the variables and predefine the variables that we want as a retentive and select the number that we want, 100, and in the other one, 101. Okay, just to have an idea on this one. Let's go back. So go to function, basic, here, content ID. In the right part, you can see this square. This square gives us more information. In our case, what we're going to do is to not link it, the object to a constant, is to link it to a variable. So variable content ID int, two ways. I'm going to add to this one. Here, going to do the same, but with the other one. So now this is not linked to a fixed ID, it's linked to a variable that can change the ID. So let's play it a little bit more and grab a numeric display. So for this one, I'm going to show the content ID1, and for the other one, I'm going to show the content number 2. Good. And let's simulate this. You can see when the application starts, it has these two variables. So here I can define the other one I have created. 3, I don't remember how many I have created. Okay. You can see here I can enter any kind of number and it is stick with the latest one, what is an error. Okay, and the same for this one. So this way of doing this allowed us to link a content display with different content and not be directly connected to just one content. So we can create like a navigation where we can have the frame of our application, then change the content ID. This is a way to do it. Another way to navigate is using the variables of the object and then link it to a variable. So let's go to the example. So for example, I forgot to mention this. You can use this variable, okay, to change, but probably in the real application you have another buttons here where you can select the operation or source the number that you want, destination, the content ID that you want, this one, this case, just to quickly show you, 102, copy and paste, 3, function, just to quickly show you. So instead of using this field, you can use buttons to navigate. Of course, you can change this name to something more to application. But what I want to show is, for example, you can switch ID 102, and I'm going to leave any kind of operation here. Okay, and here I'm going to switch ID 103, no operation. So what you can done is to link the content display properties using a script. For example, a script one touch value change, clean target, screen offset, sorry, screen offset. When the switch ID is selected, okay, you can change screen change now. Where is it? Value change. You want to change from the offset, screen offset, the content display dot screen ID for a constant value, in this case, for example, 102. So when you click the object, it will assign the number 102 into the screen ID. So just copy this and change it to the other option that we had, 103. So when you click one of these two objects, it will change the ID. So this is another way to do it. Okay, let's go back here. So if I click this one, it changed ID. So this is the other way. So I believe this is everything for the navigation using contents. Okay, and another tip that I usually work with the view box, you can see here, but additional to the view box, I'm going to add screen one, doesn't matter. You can see I have a screen ID one, which is the same ID number, okay, as the screen, but we are using different stuff. This one is screen and this is content. That's why you can use the same ID number, but this is the ID number for content and this one is the ID number for screens, which are different. So if you have the view box, okay, which is good, view box, I additionally add this a grid. The grid allow me to easily organize the elements inside this. So let me just put this here. And this one has 4, 0, and this one, this size, 800, so 800. What is good for the grid is that allow me to easily put the information that I want, okay, in the size of the grid that I have specified. And we can easily change this. For example, we can change the size of the grids, okay, to easily fill the elements that I want, okay. So in this case, I'm going to use da, 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 the text box here. I'm going to use, oops, my bad, 70, oops, 75. Hello, hello. So let's do it a little bit bigger. Hello, hello. So I'm going to use another content here just to show you why it's good to have the grid inside the view box, or at least for me, it's good to have it. New content, I'm going to use 105. No, it was one, my bad. There we go. So you can see here, it just easily organize the text, okay, and it's taking the same position as you want, okay. Is as is an additional step compared to this one, okay, but for me it's much easier to use the view box and then apply the grid so you can easily organize the elements, okay, to stay in the same position compared to only the view box. This is just additional tip. So far we have seen all the navigations. In the previous video we have seen the navigation using the folders with the screen. Now in this video we have shown how we can make the navigation using ID, how we can link the content ID to to a variable, and then using the variables to change the content ID, even if we are using different multiple screen, no, content displays in the same page. We need to specify on the field for the content ID, which is the variable that we're going to use. That is one step, one way to do it, and the other one is to use in the script. So you can link the the object content for the content ID to change the the content that is showing that content display. Okay, probably I can explain it much better now. All the objects in EOT have some properties, and we can access using another variable, or we can using the script. So if you use the script to get access to a object property like this one, the object, the content display, the name that we have for the content display, then dot the script ID, we have the direct access to the screen ID of that content. So we can link, in this case, a constant value, or we can link another value to change the content of that specific content display. So this is it. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.